Hey, welcome to Cardboard Meditation. I am the big guy. I was watching a channel the other day where the host, I'm not gonna say who it was showing a postcard of a baseball player, and he goes, "I know this isn't a baseball card, because I wanted to show it to you anyway." And I thought, wait a minute, why isn't the postcard a baseball card? Anything can be a baseball card if it's got a ball player in it, right? I mean, well, you know what? Let's get another opinion. All right. Thanks, Your Honor. You know what? I think when it comes to baseball cards and baseball collecting, your hobby, your rules. If they want to be baseball cards, they're baseball cards. If the premiums they used to give away back in the 20s and 30s aren't little tiny cards, that's too bad. They're baseball cards. Big photos, baseball cards. Little discs, baseball cards. Your hobby, your rules. What do you think? Anyway, after saying that, I went and looked in my baseball card drawer over here that I've been sorting, and I went, yeah, I've got a lot of postcards that are baseball cards, and we're going to take a look at them. So I'm not sure why somebody would think that postcards aren't baseball cards, but perhaps it's this very first one that has people confused. It's the very first sports postcard I ever bought. And I bought it at a huge card show in Plymouth, Michigan, way back in, I think, 79 or 80. That is not a baseball card. That is a basketball card. From Winston-Salem University, this is Earl the Pearl Monroe. Check out those Chucks. I saw that when I first went. Hey, I've got a pair of those. I did. Isn't that a cool card? It's a postcard. I showed you there, didn't I? Yeah. And it's not a baseball player, so I guess technically it's not a baseball card, but it is a basketball card. It's one I absolutely love. It's my very first one I ever bought. I even have the second one here that I ever bought, again, at a huge show in Detroit. Well, near Detroit. Back in the day. And here it is. This is a Dexter Press postcard of the great Say Hey Kid. This is a beautiful card. I've seen this image. They use it a lot. It doesn't say it's a postcard, but it's got the Dexter Press name right here. I'm not sure if you can see it. And Dexter Press made postcards. And this is the size of a postcard. And it is perhaps, I'm going to go on, not on a limb here, but it's probably my most best looking one ever. Blue skies, creamy colored jersey, dark skin, the orange letters on the cap. And he's looking right at you. Beautiful. Okay, the third one. Now I know I bought this this was another card show pickup. And again, it is a baseball card of Sweet Swingin' Billy Williams. He's right there in Wrigley Field. You can see the Gardner name on that. That's the Gardner made some postcards at the time. And they were the photographer as well. Isn't that cool? Now, these next cards, well, you know what? I got one more here I want to show you. This one is it says Crane Howard. Now, I've never heard of these guys before, but I think they made team postcards. And that is manager and player Frank Robinson for the Cleveland Indians. That's pretty cool, isn't it? That old Indian jersey, that old C on the cap. I love this one. Love it. Okay, here's what I was going to talk about there next. These next few cards are actually postcards that were given out at Yankee Stadium during these clinics that they had. They had scheduled all these clinics back in 1971, and every time you came into one of those, you got a postcard. And I know Thurman Munson's in there somewhere, but I don't have that one. There's John Ellis. Let me show you the back of these things. It does show the dates for the clinics. Here's Stan Bonson. Here's one of my favorite people of all time, Ralph Houck. Ralph was a hero. World War II. He was an officer. Mel Stottlemyre. Jake Gibbs. Here's another Stan Bonson. Here's Lindy McDaniel. And that is autographed, as you can see. And the last one is kind of a cool one. I'm not sure why they did this way, but this is Gene Michael, I'm sorry, and Horace Clarke. Bring that up a little closer. The Horace Clarke picture, I think, looks really cool. That helmet just looks really neat. So, anybody want to argue about whether those are baseball cards? I don't think so. So, I said earlier that the Billy Williams card may have been, or excuse me, the Frank Robinson card may have been photographed as a part of stadium giveaways, like that you'd buy in a pack before a game and get them autographed. I don't know if that was the way those were sold, but I think that was done that way more than once. And here's living proof right here. This is these were sold at the stadium, from what I understand. They were distributed by Mittock & Sons. And here's one of my favorite pitchers of all time, Mudcat Grant. Yeah, he was a Dodger at one time. I love this guy. He figured in really well back during the year of the pitcher, 1968. He was a force. And I love this guy. He was actually a musician. You can go out right now on YouTube and take a listen to some of his music, because some of it's out there, I think. I used to listen to it. He was a blues man, and he could play. Jim Mudcat Grant. Love that guy. Here's Bill Singer. Now, I'm showing you like some of the older LA Dodgers postcards. Here's Julio Versailles. It's Tom Haller. And here's Wes Parker. I like that one. You can see that zigzaggy roof that's over the grandstand there, or the I think those are the bleacher seats, aren't they? And then the scoreboard there. Those are pretty cool. And they don't have dates on the back, but I would dare say these are from the very early 70s. Maybe mid 70s. I might be wrong. I'm just going to show you a few more. We've got a whole bunch of Dodger ones here, but I just want to show you a couple other ones here. Here's Dave Goltz. These are from a different year. Here's Bill Russell. This is Bob Welch. Steve Yeager. Now this one is a beautiful one. It's Fernando. Steve Howe. And the great Pedro Guerrero. And a great manager, Mike Scioscia. All right, some more Dodger ones, some more Dodger postcards. Here's a Johnny Roseboro. You can see it's taken from the same angle as the other one was. I showed you the roof and the scoreboard, but there's fans back there. There weren't fans in the other one. So I'm not sure if it was taken on the same day, but it's from that same era. Now here's some from a different era. There's Ron Cey, Davy Lopes, Jerry Royce, Bert Hooton, the great Willie Davis. Check this out. I got two of these. Oh, there's Terry Forster. Let's put him up there first. We've got Steve Garvey. And we've got Steve Garvey. That's pretty cool. Also got a Davy Lopes here again. Different card. And the great Tommy Lasorda. Baseball cards or not? Yeah, now you're getting it. Now you're getting it. Okay, here's just the last of the the Dodger cards. Here's Al Downing. Here's Bobby Valentine looking smug. And here's Duke Sims. Looking happy. So this next little bunch of cards, I think I've got these separated out. These are the J.D. McCarthy, some of the J.D. McCarthy cards. And J.D. McCarthy was a photographer who lived in Detroit. And when ball players would come in, he would take their pictures in Tiger Stadium. You'd always see them in Tiger Stadium. Not always. Sometimes he went to Chicago. I've seen some of his work there at Comiskey Park. And but for the most part, everything was taken right there in Tiger Stadium. And this is my favorite player of all time, Al Kaline. Now, I'm going to pull this up here. Can you see that little JMCD, J.D. McCarthy? That's it. And look at that upper deck back there. That's the scoreboard. I sat up in there so many times. I remember watching this great game with Ricky Henderson right down below me there, and Dave Winfield on the other side there. That was great. Of course, we got to see Al Kaline out there too. All right. Let's take another look here. Another look here. Now, this is actually something made by the TCMA. I know they did this back in 1985. It's so washed out. I wish it was a little better. But that's Harvey Kuenn and Al Kaline. It had to be right around 1953, 54 maybe. So after that, Mr. Kuenn was gone, and Rocky Colavito was introduced. I worked with a woman who's from Cleveland, and she got so upset, she said, when she was a little girl, that they traded the handsome Rocky Colavito for the Goomba Harvey Kuenn, and she never forgave the Cleveland Indians and hated the Tigers for that reason. I kind of just patted her on the back and said, yeah, I understand. Of course, I'm laughing inside. Okay, here is another one of the J.D. McCarthys, I think. Nope, it's a Gardner one. It's a Gardner postcard. Also, another Tiger there of Billy Bruton. And this card, as you can see, is not Tiger Stadium. That is Comiskey Park. You can tell by those half-round windows back there. And the fact that he's in his away uniform. These are really kind of high-end postcards from back in the day. And when I say high-end, these were ones that were created with the very nice photography, but the actual photograph has that photographic feel. This is a graded one of George Kell. I'm not sure where he's at in there. It could be, I don't know. I don't know where that's at. Looks like he's got his home whites on, though. I don't think it's Tiger Stadium, though. The back of this does not help with anything. There's no information on there at all. But it is beautiful. I have another one. Same thing. Different ball player. Johnny Groth. I like this one better. That's one of my favorite poses. I'm going to be doing a video someday on the poses of ball players and which ones I like, which ones I don't. I love that one. Do you see that Jimmy Fox Gowdy card in that right there? That pose? I love it. I love it. And his autograph. That's an authentic autograph. And again, not at Tiger Stadium, but at Comiskey. You can tell by those rounded windows back there. Here's another one that is a part of a packet that you would buy at the stadium and get autographed. I don't think they were really meant to send out. Storm Davis, who eventually played for the Tigers. I think he ended his career with the Tigers. But it's a very flimsy, I'm going to call it a card, but it looks like a postcard on the back. But I think they were created just for the fans, and I don't think people actually sent them out because this would not make it through the mail these days. I have a real cool postcard here that I got when they were showing off this lithograph. And they said, we're going to make some postcards of these and get them out to people so maybe it would help them purchase this lithograph of George Brett. I didn't buy the lithograph, didn't have lithograph money, but I did have postcard money, and I do like that. I wouldn't mind having that lithograph. It's beautiful. Here's what that back looks like. I know it's a postcard because it says postcard on it. Now, other things that are postcards that most people don't realize are postcards are these bad boys. That is an autographed Hall of Fame postcard. It's Billy Herman. These are some of the old ones, these yellows. They have a lot of other colors. I have a whole set of the yellows that they're a little different than this. But this is an older version of those yellow ones. And here they are on the back. So you can send it off, but it's got a really nice gloss to it. You're not going to be able to write on that. So I don't know, if they really anticipated people buying these and sending them out, but they are great collectibles, I can tell you that. Look at this one. Stan Kovaleski, autographed. Now that's even older because it's got the red background. Doesn't have all that stuff. Well, you couldn't see it through this plastic, I guess, but I can tell you that it doesn't have that glossy surface. And then, of course, I have this one. And this one. Both of them are postcards. All right, this next one, again, not a baseball card. It's pretty cool. I got it a long time ago. When I first got it, I thought, wow, this is old. This is so cool. This is ancient. This is a lot of stuff that it actually isn't. It's not that old. That is Jack Dempsey knocking out Jess Willard. It's one of those linnet, I think that's what they're called, linnet surfaces. You can see there's kind of like a fabric look to it, maybe. You see that? If I tilt it just right, maybe. This always looked like handwriting to me. Somebody wrote that up there. It's not. It's on the postcard. And then I always thought this is Jack Dempsey's autograph. It's not. It's on all of them, I think. But isn't that pretty cool? It's not so much a photograph either. It's a painting of some form, probably made from a photograph. Okay, this next bunch, I just want to show you real quickly on the back. These are postcards. I don't know anybody in their right mind that's going to use them as postcards because they're way too beautiful. These are just a few. I've got a lot of these. This is Rudy Fernandez of the Negro Leagues, autographed. Here's Andy Porter, autographed. Josie Hard. Marlon Duckett. And Bubba Hyde. All autographed. All of them postcards. Says right there. I would not send these through the mail. These are just little tiny portraits celebrating the Negro Leagues, and they're autographed. Just beautiful. I'm still trying to collect as many as I can, but there's some players in here. There's like a Willie Mays and a Hank Aaron. I'm never going to get those autographed. They're really expensive. I mean, they exist. Obviously, they're not signing them now, but beautiful. Here's another card that I really love, and I'm going to take this out of the plastic too because it's important. This is part of a series of cards that were actually taken down in Florida during spring training in 1961. This says, to Ted, all the best. Larry Bo Osborne. Now, I always knew him as Bobo Osborne, catcher for the Tigers back then. You can see he's got a tiger cap on, but it's Really hard to see that D on there. And I was told, actually I read, that number 8 was not his jersey. And that some of the other players that posed didn't have their real jerseys. So maybe they all were told to report to this golf course and they're going to have the brand new 1961 car out there and they're going to pose in front of it. And that's what they did. And almost all of the ones that I see are autographed. So somebody was giving these out, maybe at an event, and they were signing them all the time. These are really nice. This next one is part of a series of baseball cards. I know to be baseball cards because they are listed in the Sports Collector's Bible. And a lot of people know that that's what these things are. And we always argue about how to pronounce the name. The 1907 Deitch or Daichi. Now, the one that you probably remember would be the Ty Cobb, which is beautiful, beautiful card. But this is Davy Jones. I said Davy Jones. I have a couple of cards of his. That's how they have it written. This says David. And the weird thing is maybe I'm broad brushing here, but they all sort of look alike. They're all in that very same pose. So you really have to pay attention because the Cobb is like that too. Except for, if you know what he looks like, you'll say, oh yeah, that's Ty Cobb. But they all have this kind of a look to them. And they are beautiful. I'd love to get the Sam Crawford one. That's the other one I would love to have. But it is a postcard. And it is postmarked November 3rd, 1910. I know this bad boy is authentic. I love getting old postcards for them being filled out. All right. Some of the other team cards, much like the LA Dodgers, are the Minnesota Twins. They did this a lot. This is manager... Oh, no, this is pitcher Jerry Koosman. Here's John Castino. Let's take a look at that back. It is a postcard. No stats on the back. Here's Ron Jackson. Here is Gary Ward. This one's a nice looking card. I like that one. Here's the great Johnny Padres, who was the coach at that time. Here's Butch Weiniger and Roy Smalley. Got a great big pile of these. A lot of these guys I don't, really don't want to show them. There's just one-time ball players or utility guys, but those are some of the stars. Notice there was no Rod Carew in there or Harmon Killebrew. Okay, we were talking about the J.D. McCarthy cards. Here's one of Tim Johnson for the Milwaukee Brewers, and it is autographed. You can see there it is. There's that scoreboard again, upper deck. Mr. McCarthy was summoned to the stadium because the Brewers were in town, and got a picture of Tim Johnson here. Here is another one of Ray Ripplemeyer for the Phillies. This looks like something that was manufactured for the fans at the stadium to buy. Autographed. I got a bunch of these. Next ones, I think, are from the George Brace Photographic Studios. I'm not sure who this is. Oh, Ken Hamlin. Oh, yeah, Ken Hamlin. I'm embarrassed. Ken actually lived just a few miles from here, over in Kalamazoo County. He had a I think it's called Timbers or Tall Timbers Boys Camp, where he had boys come out and spend time in summer camp and learn baseball. I'm not sure whatever happened to that camp. I drove by it when I was younger, and it actually was still there. I don't think it was in operation, but the camp was there. Ken Hamlin, autographed. Here is another one of those George Brace cards. This was taken by a great photographer who did a lot of great work in the 50s and 60s. I think even in the 40s. A lot of the photographs were taken by the Brace Company and made into photographs for the team and for Associated Press and for postcards. I used to have a bunch of the Georgia Brace. I traded them away for something I don't even remember. I remember having them. Isn't that terrible? You can see right there, is it? Yeah, George Brace. They were in shot of Chicago. So much like the J.D. McCarthy, these were done by a gentleman in Chicago. I think this is Gail Hopkins, White Sox. I'm not sure where that's at. I think that's spring training. That does not look like a major league stadium to me. Here's an autograph card. Another George Brace of Moose Skowron. Whoa. Threw it around. Sorry, Moose. When he was playing for the White Sox. Here is an autograph card of Bob Locker. And here's one of a guy named Bruce Howard, I think. I do not know this guy. It is autographed. It is at in Comiskey Park. You can see those windows in the back. And here is my favorite card so far of the J.D. McCarthy's, other than the K-Line one. Let me take it out of this thing because it'll just throw up all sorts of glare. This is Blue Moon Odom. Look at that. There he is. There's the scoreboard up there, upper deck. He is standing along the third baseline, or no, the first baseline, kind of looking out into center field. At Old Tiger Stadium. Blue Moon Odom. And it is autographed. You can see right there the J.D. McCarthy name. Now, here are some cards that I'm going to go through these kind of quick too. These are not baseball player cards, but they are cards that I always collected these because I thought they were cool. These are postcards of the stadiums. Here's Forbes Field. I'm going to pull that up so you can see it a little better. Game is being played right there in Pittsburgh. You know that's right field, right? Could it be? This is Busch Stadium and the arch. That's pretty cool, I think. See, these are really cool. If you're a fan, you need those in your collection. If you're going to collect the teams, collect the stadiums too. These are really cheap. Here's Shea Stadium. Now I've got two here of Riverfront Stadium. It's no longer around either. Been over that bridge quite a few times. And this is the inside of that stadium. Look how big it is. Wow. They don't make them like that anymore. Capacity was 52,000. That's a lot. Looks like they were all there that day, too. Here's a really cool one. This was one if you went to Chicago and you went to a ball game or something like that. This is the one you take home because it's just amazing. Comiskey and Wrigley. Isn't that neat? Got the little decal edge around the outside. This one's pretty cool. Let's take a look at the back. Aero Distributing. I've never heard of them. Here's another one that just the decal edge and the team logo Beautiful night game at Fenway. Nice. Okay, got a couple here from Yankee Stadium. This is one of those Linnet postcards. I'm going to tilt a little bit, see if you can see the fabric. Maybe you won't see it. Anyway, that is a cool card. It's an old one of Yankee Stadium. Here's one that's a little newer. It's a park now. Here's Dodger Stadium. I think that's a beautiful, beautiful photo. I mean, I'd love to go there, watch a game. Okay, here's some stadiums that are no longer. Navin Field. It says Narvin down there, but it's Navin. It's on the site of where Tiger Stadium was, which is no longer there. It's nice public housing and shops and all sorts of stuff there now, all the way around it. The field is still there. You can, I don't know if you can go up there, but me and a buddy, before they built everything up around it, went out there and threw the ball around. It's fun. Here's Griffith Field, where the Senators played in Washington, D.C. Here is the Boston Braves field. I would like to know what's sitting there now. I know it's not Fenway. I know there's something there. They probably tore it down and built something else, but maybe it is Fenway. I don't know. Here's Crosley Field. I wonder what's sitting there now. Down in Cincinnati. These folks made radios, and I think at one time TVs. Crosley. Here's another oldie. Last of the oldies. The Polo Grounds. Hardly looks like a stadium, does it? It's like an angry mob standing around in suits watching somebody play baseball. It's not quite a stadium. Now, these last two, this is all we have left. These are stadiums too, but I always, when I collected these, I said there's no way people could send these through the mail. They would require more postage. This is actually a much wider, same length, but it's much wider than the regular postcards. Jerry Stadium in Montreal. See, I said Montreal, not Montreal, because people up in Montreal, that's how they say it. I used to do a lot of voice work for, well, not a lot, but for some clients up in Canada, and they made me redo it. Montreal. I used to say Saskatchewan. It's not. It's called Saskatchewan. Your country, your rules. And then this one, which I think is really cool. Yeah, it's a postcard. There's no way that's going to go through the mail. It's going to cost you a little bit more to send that. But it is a postcard. Well, what do you think? Baseball cards? I'm thinking they're baseball cards. I don't want to be putting these expensive stamps on them anytime soon and sending them out. Good night. We're almost at $1 a stamp now. Anyway, thanks for tuning me in. I am the big guy, and I appreciate your viewership. And if you could, go ahead and subscribe. Give me a like. I'd appreciate it. Talk soon.
Cardboard meditation helps set your mind right. Thank you for watching. Show us your appreciation by clicking the like and subscribe button. Ring the bell while you're at it so you'll know when we upload a new story.